Happy Mother's Day to all you moms out there. This is the Mother's Day episode of The Long Halloween, Batman, The Long Halloween podcast here on Paprika Network. That's me, your boy Seed, one of the hosts of this Bits of Business, and we are a full complement yet again on this episode. And let's start with, let's go down the list with our repertory players. Ninja Dave, how are you doing today, sir?
Doing all right, sir. How about you?
Not too bad, not too bad. Excellent. We also have in the house, young Brian Martin. How are you, sir?
Lousy.
All right, then. Sounds good.
No, I'm doing great. It's great. Things are good.
Last but not least, we have the mark in this whole thing, Mr. Jermon Jackson. How are you doing out there?
Not bad, man. It's been a few weeks since the last episode. Got so much done in those weeks.
Hey, the restrictions have been lifted. Are you guys at the beach like I am right now?
Oh, man.
Just insert sound effects of like birds cawing in the background. And
I'm just going up to people. It's beautiful. The restrictions have been lifted. I'm just licking people now. It's wonderful.
I have not seen you fellows in weeks, and it feels like years. Not gonna lie to you, yeah. But when the world restarts itself, I'm sure there will be libations. Well, you know what? Actually, when the world restarts itself, we'll just be together for Dipsgiving, probably.
Dipsgiving.
Coincide. It's going to be the best Dipsgiving ever.
Peter's going to walk in and break down in tears at seeing more than 3 other people in a room. I don't give a fuck what your dips are.
It's gonna be like Endgame, that one scene where Peter Parker and Ned get to see each other in school and then just break down.
That's how this feels now. Like when the I guess when was the last time we were all together? As the Valentine's Day episode, right?
Yeah. It was the St. Patrick's Day episode. Well, with the last time we three recorded together, but Dave wasn't there for that one.
Yeah, so Dave was there for. So I feel like walking out of the Valentine's Day, I think recorded in January. It's like, all right, well, see you in a couple of weeks, and then it's like Endgame 5 years later.
It's like we all walk away and we have one of those little montages at the end. It's like Dave died in Vietnam, and he
Jermon became CEO of Amazon. Brian was revealed to be the holiday killer.
What a twist.
What a twist. And speaking of which, we are here to talk about the Mother's Day episode of Batman The Long Halloween. As always, we kickstart this bit of business with a little summation of what happened in the issue, and here it is for you. While Holiday is still free somewhere, Batman pays a visit to the Calendar Man, Julian Day in Arkham Asylum. The villain offers no real help again, despite the promise that he knows who Holiday is. In retrospect, Calendar Man probably is wasting Batman's time, knowing there's no way he can know what's going on, but that kind of leads up to his involvement in Dark Victory, the Loeb and Sale joint for you. Unfortunately for Batman, their interaction is interrupted by the escape of Scarecrow. Bruce is confronted by the police for being a suspected accomplice of Falcone, leading to a fear-induced chase across the city, where he eventually ends with the police surrounding Bruce, crying as he clutches his mother's tombstone.
I don't know how you guys tend to spend your Mother's Day, but that's a pretty good summation for me.
Yeah.
That about sums it all up.
My mom's not even dead yet, and I still end up
cradling,
crying at her tombstone.
And also we get, of course, Dave's favorite character, Carla Gigante, squeezing a dude for some information.
Oh, and so beautiful, so wonderful.
Now we know where the Holiday Killer gets their weaponry from. And Sophia shows up to do a little bit of lead dealing of her own, only for the Holiday Killer to slip out the back, having just made her kill for the issue, which would apparently be her supplier. And that is that for this issue. Now, I'm going to go on record here saying this issue does absolutely nothing for the story, in my opinion. There's no
new clues, no nothing.
Yeah, this is just another, hey, remember what happened to Batman? Let's retread that for the 1,000th time.
That's true.
I have a feeling it's going to happen again on Father's Day, too.
You're not wrong. I feel like this issue DC contacted Loeb, and they're like, Loeb, hello, you got a script? He's like, oh, fuck, I forgot. And just threw some shit together.
He wrote this one on the can.
I will say, though, because you see it all the time in media, it's the whole, Batman, come quick. Something's going on in such and such. We get a bona fide Batman help. And I love it.
That's true. That's just
a small detail. It's like Batman. Like, what else would you call this guy? Batman, come quick,
Mr. Man. Yeah, we got this poor hapless security guard here. So it opens up with Bats talking to Julian Day. I don't know why he keeps going back to Julian Day.
Julian Day really wants to be Hannibal Lecter in this story, but he's not even close. And I think that's the reason Loeb is using him as this sort of Hannibal Lecter-esque character. But it's like, you, sir, are no Hannibal Lecter.
He's like, hey, if you let me out, I'll help you. He's like, I'm not letting another one of you psychos loose.
Although that would make for an interesting story to see both Julian Day and the Holiday Killer out there competing against each other.
Mm-hmm.
Batman be stressed the fuck out.
And I guess, because Batman, obviously, probably he was the first person he looked at when these killings started happening, because that's his MO.
Mm-hmm. It's his MO, but he's been in Arkham this whole time. So I don't understand is Batman just going back to Julian Day just to try to get a look inside Holiday's killer's mind?
Hey, remind me next. What's the next holiday, Julian? Father's Day? Okay.
I'll be back Tuesday at 3.
Like Batman misplaced his day planner, and he just needs to keep going there to check what the next holiday is.
Can we also just lend a spotlight to how lax the security is at Arkham, even to the point where like there's an escapee while Batman's visiting. Then also Batman goes after the guy by ripping 2 poles out of the jail cell by hand.
Yeah.
Hey, that's something that Batman could do, but having seen Scarecrow's little skinny ass arms, the Scarecrow could not.
Oh God, no.
I mean, the thing is, the bars were in place, right? Yep. So, and there was a rope that was made out of straw already the bars can't contain him because this skinny ass self just shimmied right through. They're like, there's no way he'll climb down from this. He can get out, but he won't climb down.
It was like when Roger Rabbit slipped out of that handcuff.
Yeah,
that's essentially what's happened here.
Pretty much. So we got yet another addition to the Batman Rose Gallery here, the Scarecrow. We got the Riddler last episode. Now we got the Scarecrow out and about. He used to be one of my favorites. Now not too much anymore.
Mm.
I think the Arkham video games have made me hate the Scarecrow.
Oh, because those levels are such a pain in the ass?
Yes. I hate all these video game developers have to shoehorn these stages into the video games. These fever dream, nightmares, levels and stuff for some strange reason. It's in the Spider-Man game.
Mm.
Is it with Mysterio?
No, it's Scorpion. I think he poisons Spider-Man and he starts hallucinating.
I guess that makes some sort of sense.
I do think, all right, so Scarecrow, mileage may vary, but I think Tim Sale's Scarecrow is, again, in keeping with most of his designs, pretty bitchin'. And this issue does 2 big things for me. One, it gives us not one. You think you've gotten to the splash page where you get those 2 pages back to back of the Scarecrow on a fucking horse in the moonlight. I'm like, that's fucking great.
Yeah.
But there's also almost no written word on those 2 pages, so Loeb was really phoning it in and just saying Sale, you handle it. But then you think that's the splash page, but then you turn and then you get another one immediately of Batman diving on it. Those 2 pages are great, and that Scarecrow is he's not someone I want to wake up and see in the room in the middle of the night. You know what I mean? It's just scary as hell.
I'm kind of interested in the logistics of all that. So Scarecrow escaped, and who knows how much of a head start he's had on Batman. He's on horse, and Batman's already caught up to him and knocked him off the damn horse.
And that's not even the Scarecrow. That's a dummy. right?
Yeah.
So it's like he had time to escape and fashion a dummy and acquire a horse.
Yeah.
It's like he broke out and he's like, I gotta get to my horse guy right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And the horse is cool with it all. I'm just gonna sit
The
here
horse is very, very chill.
with the Scarecrow doll on my back and wait for the Batman to show up.
My thing is, like, Batman gets infected with the fear toxin, right? But he knows what he's dealing with. Why didn't he have some type of, like, a gas mask or something on him? He typically has at least some kind of respirator.
Wouldn't he have to he would have to go with, like, to Arkham with, like, literally everything at his disposal because all the wackadoodles are in there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I need fear
I've-
gas counter agent. I need my Joker gas
Counter agent.
remedy. I need,
Yeah. At this point, he doesn't need a whole bunch of double-sided quarters. Not quite yet, but
I was like, screw that. What about the poor horse getting gassed?
what kind of nightmares is that horse having?
Hashtag
factories.
justice for Scarecrow's horse.
Fucking glue factories after him and shit.
I think Batman just stopped by real quick to talk to the Calendar Man. Did not expect to have to deal with all this bullshit. And he was like, fuck it, I'm here, so I guess I kind of have to, don't I?
Maybe this is what taught him the lesson to always prepare for an Arkham breakout.
And that's what it is.
This is kind of early in his career, so yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't. He's not. If Batman had prep time, he'd win. Batman, quite yet.
Right.
So after the Scarecrow does his thing, Jermon, here's a question for you. So we don't ever actually see the Scarecrow in this issue. Do you think he will pop up somewhere later on?
That would not surprise me. Like, I think he will show up at some point, like, before all is said and done. Especially if you got a decoy and the gas involved. Like, he's got to be lurking somewhere.
Care to take a guess what holiday he might show up in?
Let's see. So we've got Father's Day after that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
International
see.
Scarecrow Day. No.
Probably not showing up for Steak and BJ Day.
I would love to do a version of this story that's just paprika specific, and it's like National Donut Day is one of the holidays.
Steak and DJ Day would be in there, definitely.
You would have thought, if anything, like Halloween would have been his day.
Yeah.
So, dude, is there a Halloween issue? It starts, but it doesn't.
Yeah,
end
it
on
ends.
Halloween.
It ends with another Halloween. Yeah.
Okay, that's why it's 13. Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah. So you still got one more chance to
Could.
Scarecrow.
It could happen.
I mean, if it's off season, that's the best time to get Halloween supplies.
50% off.
So after all this nonsense has gone down, that's when Dave kicks into action here. And then we get his girl, Miss Gigante, doing what she does. She, killing people.
Just some straight goon shit. Like,
Oh, no,
He
no,
is
no.
such a goon.
Before we get to that, man, we do have Gordon, which is weird that we have Gordon showing up to Wayne Manor without Harvey showing up to Wayne Manor.
Gordon
Yeah,
learns. Last time he brought a hothead out there, he nearly trashed Wayne Manor. GCPD don't need that kind of heat.
Don't do that kind of heat. Do you think there is a reason, Jermon, that Gordon went out there by himself?
Maybe he didn't want to make it seem like an incident. Like, maybe, because I know they were gunning for, getting Bruce Wayne and everything. Maybe if he just showed up by himself, it wouldn't seem like a thing so much.
Okay,
Maybe
you're
they
like,
can-
hey, come quietly with us.
Yeah, come on down to the station or whatever. Let's talk about this or whatever.
Yeah, because
He
even
didn't want
if
an
you
incident.
even if you are seen being carried off in cuffs or whatever the case is by the police and you are cleared of all charges, people are still going to have that image of you being carried off by the police in cuffs. And it
That's a
does
court of
tarnish.
public opinion.
Yeah, that court of public opinion on Twitter will
I
rip
think
you
this
apart.
This is it serves two purposes, right? On the one hand, it allows Gordon to keep things quiet, right? He's not completely sold on Bruce Wayne's culpability and all this, and he doesn't want a major incident, whereas Dent might want that level of spectacle, right? He might want reporters to be there. He might want people to be aware this is happening. But from a storytelling standpoint, it also frees Harvey up to again be the holiday killer, right?
Right.
We don't know where he is. What is he doing? Oh, maybe he's killing this guy. I don't know.
We don't see Harvey at all in this issue, or do we? Oh yeah, so I'm fairly certain that what Brian said is the reason. It is just Gordon by himself there, so it frees up Harvey to go get some clap action in.
Yeah.
And then we get to Gotham River Bridge, where Dave's girl is out there choking out look, you don't see a whole lot of Asian cats in Gotham, and the one we do is getting killed.
Right.
Choking out this poor dude who has the information on the 22 pistol. And she gets the name out of him in Chinatown, which, how big is Gotham City that has its own Chinatown, first of all? At Chong's Tea House. And then she kills him.
Chong's. So racist.
Yeah.
But
they could have gone with Wong's, and then
Wong's.
He made a Wong turn there, but they can't.
Oh, stop that!
It is interesting though that Batman has been trying to solve this crime for 8 months now, and Sophia has been in town for 2 months. And she's already getting more results than he was.
She's gonna leave immediately.
It's like she's already getting close to cracking this case open by simply cracking some necks.
Yeah.
And that's what I do like about this issue is that it's the very first time that Holiday is on the defensive, right?
Right.
Like the killing in this issue has nothing to do with the mob and everything to do with Holiday trying to cover his tracks.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what on the last episode, I mentioned that this issue was kind of a turning point, and that's the turning point, right?
Okay.
Now it's not just Holiday out there doing his business. Sophia's here, and now he's legitimately concerned about his ability to operate, and he's out there trying to run interference on it. And this isn't the first time it's going to happen.
You bring up a good point.
The last time, rather.
Sophia has been in town for 2 months, and she misses the killer by a matter of a minute?
Minutes, maybe? Yeah.
Yeah, like she's coming to the front door while Holiday is dipping out the back door. 2 months.
For comparison, there was a murder in this book earlier where Batman literally swung by the window.
Yes.
2 seconds before a murder happened and was not able to stop it.
Batman, maybe not the world's greatest detective.
Sophia Gigante is the hero Gotham needs.
According to Dave, that's true.
Yeah.
Suge Knight methods.
What do you think about this whole sequence here, Dave? From the strangling of this poor innocent Asian man all the way throughout finding out that she is just a minute behind.
I thought it was very convenient. It's just one of those. If you have a couple of close calls, sure, but then a string of close calls, I'm like, what is this? Is the killer clairvoyant? What's going on?
Now, Brian, what did you think the purpose was of the Holiday killing their gun connect?
Well, obviously, I think the Chinaman on the bridge is kind of the clue there. Because that guy sold out the gun dude, right? It's obviously all it's going to take is Sophia going in there and confronting this guy in person, and he's going to give up the name, or he's going to give up a clue that will lead directly to Holiday and their identity.
But who knew that Sophia was closing in?
Indeed.
Mm-hmm. Who knew? Indeed.
So is it too late to guess Carmine Falcone?
Listeners, press 2 if you think it's Carmine Falcone. Right now. Press 3 if you think it's Harvey Dent. So we get our killing pretty not early in the issue, but not at the end where it tends to happen at. We still get a little bit more after that. We get Bruce, who was still affected a little bit by Scarecrow's fear toxin.
More than a little bit.
More than a little bit, yeah.
Decides motherfucker.
Bruce Wayne, high as a motherfucker. He takes a stroll down Crime Alley, which is probably the last place you want to be on Mother's Day. Dropping off, most normal people will probably just go to their parents' grave to drop off a flower, but Bruce Wayne goes to where his mother was brutally murdered to drop off a flower, and that's where Gordon catches up with him.
It's not uncommon because I see you see on the roadside where kids have been killed by riding their bikes. They have a bike chained up right where the accident happened, and lots of like teddy bears and flowers and gifts and whatnot left at that site.
Good point.
I think I've seen in some Batman stories where Bruce Wayne's actually done that for like as a tradition, where he would go to Crime Alley and I guess memorialize his parents. And
it's in the first Tim Burton movie. There's
it's
in the first Tim Burton movie. It happens on the animated series.
I will say that this scene of him in Crime Alley, I mean, even though we've seen this kind of stuff millions of times, it's made me think specifically back to the first time I ever saw an animated Batman and Robin cartoon. That was like the old Batman and Robin. I think you guys may remember. It's the one where he goes down this alley chasing after someone, and he stops and he's in shock. And Robin catches the guy gets away, but Robin catches up with him, and I think it starts to rain. And Robin's like, "Yeah, what happened?" And Batman just turns around, and it's raining. And you see it's all this rain pouring down on him, but you can clearly see that there are tears streaking down from his mask. He's like, this alley. And it just stuck with me,
Oh, that's what's up.
Like, who the hell builds a movie theater like next to Crime Alley?
Well, second of all, why is it called Crime Alley?
It used to be called Park Row, right? But then Crime Alley is much more apropos,
more flashy. Yeah, I think its original name was North Tryon.
Yeah.
So anyway.
$20. That's actual blood spilling out Crime Alley.
So they chase our man, and then they end up at Martha Wayne's grave. So
right. If Gordon isn't like, isn't that some Batman shit we just...
Like, he moves like Batman moves. Right. This doesn't look good on Bruce's end, because now Bruce has no alibi for where he was when Chong gets murdered. So we got a couple of no alibis happening in this issue, whereas I think, in previous issues, we had a couple people you can excuse one way or the other. Specifically for poor Bruce, he's just fucked without having an alibi. And definitely Harvey is not looking good here either. Also,
and Scarecrow.
No Scarecrow, but we can rule out Scarecrow because he has no motivation in any of this.
He has no skin in the game, basically.
No skin in the game, but
he got no skin. He's made out of straw.
Falcone, nowhere to be seen. We can't take him off the board. Still can't take Catwoman off the board either.
Yeah.
So German, I take it you are no closer.
No, we can rule out Sophia Falcone, though. Obviously.
Yeah. Yes, you can rule out Sophia because she's the one that was chasing.
I love that.
I don't know, guys. I may have to spend some time with her in an interrogation room just to find out.
Sure. Dave gets bodied up.
He's going to come out all bruised and beaten. It's like, that was worth it.
That snoo was worth it.
I love the look.
Smiling. You're into, Dave. That's you, man.
I love the look over her shoulder when she discovers the body, though. Like this like, she is just clearly not going to put up with this shit. That's how you know this series is only going to be 13 issues instead of like 26. It's like Sophia's in town and she is not going to let it go beyond 13.
She's going to murder her way to the top.
This shit is landing on time.
If Sophia has to step off the page and tell Loeb to get back on his business, that's what it takes.
Yeah. Regularly, I was like, look, I got 5 issues to get this shit done.
Yeah, exactly.
Let it be noted that when she does kill Chong has a nice little workshop here. You see grenades, you got knives, you got pistols, you got semi-automatics up in there. This tea house is putting in work.
Wait a minute. You said when she does kill Chong.
I'm sorry, when she shows up for, well, she tried to kill Chong, that's for sure.
She's going to go question him.
Yeah, right.
he was dead one way or the
other. Chong was not getting out. Who we also don't see in this issue, who I think we have seen something, our man Vernon. hasn't made appearances.
Yeah, that's true.
Old Vernon.
The old rat.
The old rat himself. So shout out to Vernon, taking a night off, I guess. Brian revealed his favorite panels. Dave, what do you have for some favorite panels going through this issue?
The Sophia one was really good. I like the Batman or the Bruce Wayne chase bit. I like the Crime Alley stuff just because it hit the old nostalgia buttons there for me. But yeah, the stuff with the Scarecrow, I mean, that splash was just really good. I mean, that needs to be a background somewhere.
Okay, right on. I can get down with that. What about you, German?
Pretty much, I think the panel that really summed everything up was like that last panel with Bruce Wayne hugging his mother's grave. Because I mean, I knew, going in Mother's Day, I was like, okay, yeah, we already know what this is going to be about. And seeing his mother's grave and seeing like this event that even to this day in his adulthood still like traumatizes him.
Yeah,
probably
man.
amplified by the fear toxin, but still, yeah.
Yeah. Why did you say that name? I think I got to go with what day was it? Brian that brought it up earlier. I think my favorite panel is the splash with Sophia looking none too pleased at this set of events, and yeah, that's how you know that she's getting down to the bottom of this shit quick, fast, and in a hurry. All right, anybody got any other lingering thoughts on the Mother's Day issue here? So I guess I take back my statement of nothing happens in this issue. I'll recant it to say very little happens in this issue.
Very little to, like, us maybe forward the plot. It's just kind of everything is still at the status quo by the end of it.
Yeah, we're still status quo. Well,
we're down 2 Chinese men, but
Hashtag justice for Chong, man.
Hashtag justice for Chong.
Man was just
And
trying to
also-
sell some guns, so I get him a little money. That's all.
We do have Bruce Wayne, we can assume, in custody as well.
right.
Yeah, so things can kind of progress how they progress from there. I guess that's gonna wrap it up for long Halloween talk, man. Let's talk about some Mother's Day. Do you have any traditions that you get down on with your mothers for Mother's Day?
I try to get her something, do something for her. Like, for both my parents, I try to, like, on those days, or just days in general, try to do more things to like, I know, for instance, that, like, they want to hear about their grandkid, or they want to talk with me, that kind of stuff. So I take more time to connect with them on that level. But also, it's kind of like a birthday gift as well. It's like, hey, what's something that they could use? And like this last time, I got my mom a massage chair, because like a thing that can fit in her car and that kind of stuff. So because she does a lot of driving to kind of help out, my aunt who's taking care of my granny. So. She does a lot of driving, and she has, some back pain, and she really loved it. So,
There you go. A little thought put behind that gift.
Yeah, a little bit.
What about you there, Mr. Martin?
I have no memory of my mother. I'm just kidding. No, that's Luke Skywalker.
Luke Skywalker.
Man, I hate to be this guy, but my mom's lucky if she gets a phone call, and I love my mother. Like, she's a wonderful mother, but yeah, I don't know. Holidays were never big for me growing up. Mother's Day slightly more important than Father's Day, just because my father is always like, he is, as much as I'm a who gives a shit. My dad's even more of a who gives a shit. So, always like flower, card, all of that stuff. Mother's Day has been redefined for me now as a parent. Because now Mother's Day is really primarily about my wife, and she has, for the last several years, taken part in the last couple of years since our kid has been born, taken part in a run, like a marathon, like a 4K on Mother's Day in South Park that starts at I want to say 8 or 8:30 in the morning, and that is my gift to her, that it's a Sunday and I'm up that early. So, so that's become the new tradition. But
here's your smoothie, hon. Have a great day.
Yeah. The second part of that is that afterwards we'll go out for a nice brunch, some and hopefully all you can eat.
Right on. Mr. Jackson.
It's funny with my mom because, like, you know, I'll try to give her a call on, you know, Mother's Day, birthdays, or what have you. A lot of times I can't even get through. my mom, like, she'll be like, I got shit to do or whatever. Like, I think I called her one year, maybe it was her birthday or it may have been Mother's Day. And, you know, talked to her real briefly. And then she was like, yeah, I got to go. I got some errands to run. I got to go play bingo, this and that. It's like, I'll talk to you later. It's like,
your mom is keeping you safe. You're not equipped to handle that she's actually a vampire hunter.
Pretty much. She is just out and about. My mom's birthday is on the 4th of July. So, you know, we'll have a big cookout / birthday party. She'll cut the hell out on the birthday party and go do some other stuff. She'll just peace out. And we'll look around like, where'd mom go?
Yeah, mom running those numbers.
But there are a few, you know, some occasions, I'll, being that we're in 2 different states, sometimes I'll try to send her some flowers or something like that, or get her some white diamonds or what have you.
Okay. All right. That's what's up.
Nope. My mother will never. My mother will never get the white diamonds, pearls. No.
I mean, like, not the actual diamonds. I mean, like the
perfume.
The perfume.
And I thought you were talking about White Castles. So okay, we're good.
Yeah, it's my family is pretty standard, man. There's some church going motherfuckers, and I'm not. So I'll wait for them to get out of church, and then we just usually either cook it up at the house, a little throw something on the grill, or we just go out somewhere and eat. And then it just kind of devolves around me and my sister, my dad, my mom just kind of staring at each other. And it's like, well, I got places to be, and I'm the first to cut out. Well, this has been fun, but you're not all that interested.
Yeah, having worked in the in the restaurant industry, Mother's Day, man, that was a beast. Like, especially like getting prepared for brunch and all that stuff. Like just making gallons and gallons of hollandaise and all this stuff, and it was a nightmare. It was a straight up nightmare.
It should be a nice payday, though.
I mean, you don't get paid. If you're getting paid hourly, you don't get paid any more than you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, Brian, you had some other ideas for Mother's Day, didn't you? For the stuff to discuss? What were you talking about?
I don't know. What was I talking about? Other things on Mother's Day to discuss? I mean, other than the fact that, like, maybe good memories with our mothers. I mean, like I said before, my mother is a great person, and I'm very fortunate to have had the mother that I have. But you know, it's one of those things that the thing I remember most about my mother, and the thing I always go back to, is how, you know, mothers seem to run on a different clock than the rest of the world. You know, like when I would say to mom, it's like I mostly when I'd want to go to a movie. The movie starts at 3:00. My mother somehow would internalize that as the time to leave is 3:00.
That's all women. You know? That's not mothers. That's all women.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is. But I've noticed. I mean, I always noticed that with my mother, and eventually I figured out how to beat the system on that and just tell her the movie starts at 2:50.
All right.
So then I'm at the theater at 3:00.
That's a woman thing.
Yeah.
That's a woman thing. You haven't.
My wife has definitely started really developing that skill, owning that skill as a mother. But but you know, again, I really do appreciate my mother.
Yeah, my mom was.
I don't want it to seem like I don't. I really, really do appreciate my mom.
My mom was always low key, goofy. Like my dad is. If you look at my mom and my dad is definitely the one you're like, oh, this is a goofy motherfucker. How did he land her? And then my mom, when no one else is around, that's when she's low key goofy, and that's why I always like my dad makes me laugh, but my mom really fucking makes me laugh. And that's
hilarious too. She's quiet, she's soft spoken, but she can cut up when she wants to.
Yeah, and you talk about some zingers there, and making my mom laugh is hands down probably one of my top 3 favorite things to do in the world. because while she's goofy, she doesn't crack as much. Like I can always make my dad laugh. That's nothing. But when I get the good belly laugh out of mom, I'm like, mission fucking accomplished.
I think one of my greatest memories of my mom, and I may have told this story before, but Death of Superman, when that was coming out, there was a big hype around it and all. And of course, I wanted a copy. The comic shop was basically like, first come, first serve. By the time I got home from school, they were sold out completely. Mm. So I'm all dejected or whatever. I come home and I open the door. My mom pulls out 2 copies. She spent the entire day tracking down that book for me, and that was something else. That was like, and then, matter of fact, I just spoke to her a few days ago, and she was like, "Yeah, I still have that book or whatever." It's like, I don't need it anymore. Next time you come down, you can come in and go ahead and pick it up or whatever.
There you go. Shout out to Dan Jurgens.
Mom's care, man. Mom's care.
Mom's care. Yeah, same thing. Exact same thing for me. The Data episode 1, Phantom Menace tickets went on sale. My mom scoured because you could go to the theater and get your pre-sale ticket. And my mom scoured the couple of theaters in the area, and she finally managed to track down some tickets for the Phantom Menace. And then I got in trouble in school, and she's like, "You don't need these anymore."
That was like my mother and Jurassic Park. Like we as a young kid, we went to the movies periodically. It wasn't like a weekly thing until I was about 13, which is incidentally the summer Jurassic Park came out. But like the thing that really kicked that off was my mother was like, "We're not fucking around here. We're going on opening weekend."
Yeah.
And that was something that never ever happened. But she was so gung ho about getting us to that movie. So
right on. What do you guys think is the best quality that you got from your mothers?
I would say my sense of humor and my love of long form stories.
Really?
As I would, while she'd be doing chores, she'd be watching her soap operas, and I'd be sitting there watching with her. And that's really why, I got into reading comics, because it's crazy shit happening to characters, and then it resets. Such and such was killed, but now they're back. It's like the same shit happens in comics. And I told my mom that recently, and she was like, I didn't realize that's why you got into comics and stuff. And she had watched some of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but she hadn't seen the whole thing. And so she started, I challenged her to watch the entire thing. And so she's, I think, at the second Thor film right now, but she's working her way through the entire thing. And she's like, that's why this makes sense. This is why this, in Endgame, when he saw his mom and blah, I was like, yes. And so she's enjoying it. And so,
right.
It's cool stuff.
good.
I think with my mom, I think one of those traits that I get from her, I think it mainly is like, I would say perseverance and persistence, because just seeing the example she set, like just being a single mother, raising 3 kids, and just seeing her making it happen no matter what. I really admired that about her.
Right on.
Yeah, I think mine would probably disagree with me when I say this, but creativity is probably the thing that I inherited from my mother. She's as far as like knitting goes, as far as sort of creatively employing found items around the house in creative ways. And she did a lot of sewing and like knitting work. Like, I don't want to say professionally, but she was able to make some side hustle money doing that sort of stuff when I was a kid. And not that I sew or anything remotely like that, but just that level of creativity is probably something that I inherited from her. Also, her cautious appraisal of the world around her, even though I am not quite as cautious as she is.
All right. Huh.
I would say. Let's just say that my mother is doing great under the stay-at-home order.
As is mine. My mom is not a fan of people. She barely likes family.
What did you pick up from her?
I picked up pragmatism, I think, from my mom. When it is a serious situation that I need to approach, I try to approach it in a cold, logical way. And that is definitely, of the two, my mom is far more ice cold and level headed than my dad is.
Hmm.
I think my dad can run on he's very much Captain Kirk. He'll make a snap quick judgment, where my mom is more like Captain Picard. Let's sit back, wait for the facts, and then make the best decision possible based on those facts. I'm probably like 70-30. I'll approach things more practical like my mom does. But then there are times when I'm like, look, we're not going to get any more facts. Let's make a decision now. But yeah, I much like Brian, maybe a little bit of that cautiousness is what I've gained much from my mom dudes.
Oh yeah, and just come to think of it, actually, my mom was very frugal too, so I probably became a little cheap my damn self, like from her. Like I remember, there were a few Christmases where I was like, "Mom, I want the Nintendo. I want that new Nintendo." Got me an Atari. You go to McDonald's, of course, being a kid going to McDonald's, you want the Happy Meal. My mom's like you don't need all that stuff. You just need the burger.
You just need a burger and small fry. That's all you need.
We got drinks at home. We don't need no sodas.
Snack and Jackson Origins.
This has all been one giant origin story of Snack and Jackson.
Yes, I don't know if this is going to be a hero or villain story. I can't. It can go either way.
All right, that sounds like a great place to wrap this whole bit of business up, man. We're going to go ahead and wrap up the Mother's Day episode of the Long Halloween.
Moms are the best.
Moms are the best. We're going to flip that coin. See, there I did it again. Next episode, and we're going to talk about old pod dukes, and we're going to talk about what our fathers are getting into on next month's Father's Day episode.
Spoiler alert: poor daddy don't get shit.
Will the world be open by then? Will the cast of the Long Halloween podcast see each other at Heroes Con? It all remains to be seen. Stay tuned and find out on next month's episode. Until then, take it easy, and we will see you in a month.